evening and welcome. This is Whole and Beautiful. I am Angela Oliphant, your host, and I am so glad that you all have joined me for another night of information, revelation, and change. Yeah, guys, tonight is another Friday night, and I am right here and I am live. Last week I wasn't here like live, but I am sure that you enjoyed the show that was on last week. I was celebrating with my family who all came together last weekend and we had a family reunion. So we were together and it was great. Like I tell you all the time is to spend time with your family while you can. Yes, make amends, forgive, get together, do what you need to do so that you can continue to move forward in the things of family because we only get one family and we don't get to choose where we're born into. Good evening, Linda. How are you doing tonight? Glad that you have joined us. And it is just so awesome to have family around that you can spend time with, that you can speak to, that you can love on. And sometimes we take family for granted. And I don't want you all to do that. If you're listening to me tonight, don't take your family for granted. Make sure that you spend time with them, that you contact them, that you speak to them as much as possible, that you just say hello sometimes. You don't have to call and speak for 3-4 hours if you don't want to. Just call and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? Okay, I'll talk to you later. Something like that. It means a lot to a lot of people. And it means a lot just to contact your family members. And sometimes we're more in contact and close, let's say, closeness with other people than we are with our own family members. And I always say that ministry starts with your family. So wherever your family may be, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to begin to pour into and really spend time with them and really talk to them. And you may say, you know what? Oh, they just be going back and forth all the time, all the drama. I don't want the drama. You don't have to be a part of the drama, but you can come in. Hey, Josie, how you doing? Glad you joined us tonight. You can go in there and say, hey, let's have a good time tonight. It's like we're family. I got all my sisters in me tonight. Oh man, both of my sisters are here, and I am so glad that y'all are on tonight. A few things before I get started to what I'm gonna talk to y'all about tonight. We're still doing our couples conversation. So if you know a couple and you say, hey, they're good together, and I think that their story is interesting, send them my information or give me theirs, and I will get in contact with them and bring them on the show for couples conversations. I'm still I will be interviewing some different people coming up, and I just want to talk about some different topics because we always talk about information, revelation, and change, and that's what I want you to get is the information so that it'll bring revelation so that you can have a change in the way that you handle stuff or maybe look at stuff. Maybe you look at something just a little bit differently, all because you listened to something that was on the show and it helped catapult you. It helped push you to where you need to be. And that's what I want to do. I want to see people grow. I want to see them prosper. I want to see them move forward. I want to see that when that light bulb comes on and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that's it right there. Yes, that's what I want to see because I want you to continue to move forward and grow on a daily basis. You know, we always have room to grow. We always have things that we can be taught. And it's good to be taught some things. Sometimes you think, oh, you know what, this is the way I used to do it all the time. But no, there is opportunity for growth. And sometimes it takes a push to grow. It takes like that push to grow. And sometimes we need that push from somewhere else. And we can't find it in ourselves sometimes. So sometimes you need that outside push. Because like I tell y'all all the time, no man is an island. We do not stand alone. We got each other out here, and we need to utilize the resources that we do have and talk to the people that are around us. And that person may be that person that push you to your next level or push you to your next place where you need to be. And so you want to make sure that you surround yourself with good people. Yes. Surround yourself with people that are going to help and not hinder. Somebody who is going to celebrate you and not tolerate you. And there is a difference. I don't want to be with somebody that just tolerates me. I want to be with somebody who's going to celebrate me, celebrate where I'm going, celebrate me as a person. And then if I make mistakes, which I will make mistakes and I will, do things that maybe are not right, I want that person to be still in my corner, but let me know, hey, that wasn't right, or hey, you did this wrong, and let's correct this and let's continue to move forward. I don't want somebody to see me going down a hole or about to fall into a hole and then they just let me fall into it. No, don't want that. And I want to just continue to move forward and to go forward and do what I need to do in my life. And I did see Diane come in. I think she came in. But she's on my Whole and Beautiful page. So welcome, Diane. I think you were on my other my other page, guys. I am trying to keep up with all the pages and keep up where people are and what's going on here. And I am not doing too good of a job right now. But anyway, welcome to everybody who is out there. If I don't say hi to you, it's because I have some different pages up and I'm looking at the different pages. So I'm trying to keep track of my pages of where I am. So if you do comment, I will see it on this screen that I'm looking at right now, but I may not see it on my phone where I am pulling up different things, trying to see who all is out there tonight. But anyway, tonight is going to be another phenomenal night. I have a lot that I want to share with you all, a lot that I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to jump right in there. And greetings, Toronto, Canada. Thank you for tuning in tonight and for listening. I really appreciate that you're out there and that you're listening to me on tonight. Tonight, guys, I wanted to share something with you that I've been looking at for a couple of weeks, for more than a couple of weeks, but I've been looking at it for quite some time, and I wanted to just share it with you. I wanted you to receive the information that I received. And the reason why I wanted you to receive the information that I received is because it meant a lot to me, and it has just had my mind thinking, had me think about some other things that I hadn't thought about in a while. And I wanted to share that information with you all. So here it goes. I want to talk to you tonight about Mary McLeod Bethune. I realize that just the few weeks that I've been studying about her and going in and looking at her life, I have found out that some people just did not know who she was. And I was like, you don't know who she is? Really? I mean, I have heard her name before. I knew some of the things that she had did, but I didn't know the wealth of everything that she had done. And I found out that a lot of people did not know who she was, didn't know, the things that she accomplished. And if you go to Google, if you go to the library, or if you go to Google and you type in her name, all this wealth of information comes up. It's so much out there about her. And but she really inspired me. And this woman was born in 1875. And I was like, oh my goodness. And when we're talking about everything, y'all will see what I'm talking about, because she was born in 1875. She was number 15 of 17 children. And she grew up here in South Carolina, in Maysville, South Carolina, which is a small town. It's very small. But Mary McLeod Bethune had big dreams. She was born in that small town, but she had big dreams. She had things that she wanted to accomplish. And I was thinking about how many people will log on tonight have big dreams. You may be from a small town, but you have big dreams of things that you want to accomplish. And sometimes we think, oh, I need this person to help me, or I need this thing to transpire for me to get where I need to go. But that's one thing that inspired me about her. Mary decided what she wanted to do, and she went after it. She was born during a time where people of color were not like appreciated or celebrated. And then on top of that, she was a woman, where it was like women was like but beneath everything too. So but she didn't let that get her down. She did not let that keep her like in a box and put her in a place of being limited. She pressed and she pushed through. And till this day, you still have Bethune-Cookman College, which she started. She started the school, and she started the school with $1.50, guys. $1.50. She started this school. She had about 4 girls that she started with, and she had those girls in her house where she began to teach them. But let me back up a minute. She was living here in Maysville, South Carolina. She left here to go to Florida, where she started her school. But when she was getting ready to go to Florida, she just didn't go on a whim. She saw that they were building the railroad there. And she said, oh, they're building the railroad. They need workers. People were moving there for jobs to work. So she strategized. She said, they're going to need somebody to watch these kids. They're going to need somebody to be with their children. And that's something that she wanted to do. So she was like, okay, we're going to move to Maysville. We're going to move from Maysville to Florida. And they moved to, her and her family moved to Daytona, Florida. With $1.50, she started her school. 4 girls. She started the school. And when you read about her, her vision for her school was so vivid. She knew exactly what she wanted in the school. She knew how she wanted it to look. She knew like the layout. She had it all in her head of everything that she wanted to do in that school. Not only just the layout and how she wanted it to look, but what she wanted to teach those students. She had it in her, and she kept pushing forward. You think about it, this woman was born 1875. Here she is going to start a school? Really? Yes, really. And she pushed and she persevered. She faced different things that came up against her, but she wouldn't let that stop her. She ended up being like the counselor for presidents. She was an advisor for 4 U.S. presidents. She was born in 1875. And I go back to that because if you go back and you study and you see what's going on during that time frame, and this woman became the advisor to 4 presidents, she became friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. She became friends with her. They conversed. They went out to lunch together. They talked. She started so many different organizations that are yet happening today. Yet happening. Yes, Linda. Yeah. With all the odds against her, everything that was against her. She even had the Ku Klux Klan who came after her trying to stop her school. Did she let that stop her? No. She persevered. She continued to move forward. She continued to go forward. She would not let anything stop her. And I think that's why, one of the reasons why she just stuck out to me when I began to study about her. And I was like so amazed at all the accomplishments that she did during this time frame, knowing when she was born. She was born like number 15 of 17, but she was the first one that was born free. When she was born, Abraham Lincoln had passed the law and all this other stuff. She was the first one in her family that was born free. And I was like, wow. And she took that freedom, y'all, and she ran with it. She ran with it. She always wanted to read and to study. And because somebody told her she couldn't read, she went in and she began to learn to read. She learned to read so much so that she was like at the head of her class, and a teacher from another race paid for her to go to a college. They was like, we're going to give you this scholarship. And they asked the teacher what student did they think deserved the scholarship so she could go to college. And they chose her. she got to go away and go to college. I'm like, look at this. It was just so great to see. Yeah, Miss A, like $1.50. That is nothing. It couldn't stop her. She pushed forward. She pressed forward. She did what she needed to do in the time that she lived in. She knew what time she lived in, but you know what? What I realized, hi, Paula, how are you? I'm so glad you joined tonight. What I realized though is that her mind, she was not limited in her mind at all. Her focus was her faith. Yes, she had a plan. Her focus was her faith. She stayed in that and she continued to move forward. Her motto was like victory through faith. That's what victory through faith. And it took her to places that people just didn't go. But what another thing that I loved about her is that even when she was receiving all this like notoriety and she's making money, y'all, she was making money. She would take it and pour it back into her community. She would pour back into somebody else. If they were trying to start a business, if she knew of a person of color that was trying to start their own business, she would take money that she earned and that she would pour into them if she saw that they were serious about that business. She just didn't try to do it by herself. She was like, come on and go forward with me. So she would pour into others and have them grow right along with her. And I was like just so excited. She was determined to build her school. And when she went out there to build her school, she didn't have enough money for some things, so she would take her girls to different like hotels and take them to different churches and let them sing. And they would do bake sales and stuff, and they would sing, and the people would give them money, and she would put the money back into the school. In the midst of doing all of this, she met somebody, and this guy that she met, and she began to tell him about her school. She described it to a T. She told him all the details of the school and all the curriculum that she wanted to teach and everything. So much so that this man said, I got to go to where she is so I can see this school. He drives up to her school, and it is a house. It's her house. She had described it so to a T. He thought he was actually going to the college. He got there and he was like, well, where is the college that you were talking about? Where is it? She said, it's all up here. It's all in my mind. It's all in my heart. And he laughed about it. But he said, well, how do you plan to build this school that you see and that you have a vision for? And she said that it was going to happen. But she said, first I would need a board of directors. And she was asking him, would he like to be a part of her board of directors? And he was like, sure. Who else is on the board? She said, you're the first one. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. She was like, you're the first one. And this man, this man that came to visit her, this man that she sat there and she had this conversation with about her school. This man was Mr. Gamble of Procter and Gamble. I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you do that? She just carried on the conversation. She saw what she wanted. She knew what it was. She went after it. She's standing there talking to Mr. Gamble, and he became her first person on her board of directors, and he helped her fund her school and build her school. And guys, the school is still there. Bethune-Cookman College is still there in Florida to this day. And she did all that because she had the vision for it. Yep, Linda, she is a visionary. She saw it. She was focused on it, and she went forward in what she wanted to see happen. She never let go of that vision. She never backed down from it, no matter what opposition she received. And you have to think about the time frame she was in. A lot of the freedoms and stuff that we have today were not going on at that point in time. But she was not one to back down from what she spoke and what she said. That's how she ended up being friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. She ended up being in the White House, working and doing things and creating organizations that would help people of color. She did it until she left this world. She was still working, still doing, still pushing. And I was like, oh my goodness, she did so many things and she accomplished so many things. And then it's like, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I said this. But in 1923 is when she negotiated the merger of her school with Cookman Institute, and that's when it became Bethune Cookman College. She was married at 23. At 23, she was married. This woman had this vision all this time. She was married at 23. 9 years later, her husband abandoned her and her son. He left. He came back to South Carolina. She stayed in Florida and continued to push. She was 32 years old, and your husband leaves. He abandons you, and you're out there just with you and your child. Just you and your child. And she still pushed through. She still persevered. She still kept moving and kept going. Some people let things like that just break them to the core, where they like, oh, I give up, I quit. You know what? I don't know what the situation was. Maybe he didn't want to be. Yes, she is an inspiration. It's like maybe he didn't want to be in Florida. Maybe he wanted to move back to South Carolina. But she said, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. And she stayed, even though he abandoned her. He left her. She stayed. At 32, she's 32 with a child, and he leaves, and she stays and pursues the dream. She keeps moving. She keeps going. She keeps establishing thing after thing after thing. And if you go and you study about her, there's such a wealth of information concerning her out there that is just so phenomenal to me, because I'm like, I keep going back to the fact that this woman was born in 1875. She growing up during a time where she couldn't go certain places. She couldn't do certain things, but she helped people of color build their businesses. Get it out, Angie. She helped them build their businesses. She set up places to, she opened doors for them to come in to meet other people. She opened doors for them to have other jobs. She talked to different people, and she was in the room with a lot of people who were not her color, but she stood in there with such dignity, such integrity, she was like, I know I belong in this place. She would not let the looks and the you don't need to be here type thing. She never let it bother her. She continued. She was like, I belong here. I know I belong here. And she continued to press and continued to move forward. And she wouldn't let them run her out of somewhere she knew that she should be. She was invited to the White House. So you can't put me out of somewhere that I was invited to. Eleanor Roosevelt invited me here. She invited me to go sit down and have dinner with her. So just because this restaurant is saying my kind is not acceptable, I'm acceptable in here. Yes, I am. And I'm going to go and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have my food. And if you want to walk out, you can walk out. Go ahead. You can leave, but I'm going to have my dinner. I love it. I just love it because she knew who she was. And she persevered and she pushed through. And she didn't let what other people say hinder her vision that she had for that school. She would not let them stop her. Even with her being an advisor to the president, she didn't let people stop her from doing what it was that she wanted to do. And she began to open up doors for so many other people. Who can you open up a door for? What is your vision? that's deep on the inside of you. I am telling you today that you can accomplish that vision. You can go forward. She wrote the vision. The vision wasn't written down on the paper though, but it was written in her mind. It was written in her heart. She could describe it to a T. Why? Because it was a part of who she is. And she shared that vision. And when she shared that vision with that person that made that connection with her, here it is. The school is now a university and it's still thriving. What is it that you want to accomplish? Where is it that you want to go? What are the things that are in your heart that you know that God has placed there? And it's like, I need to accomplish that. Those visions are there for a reason. That joy for that thing that you love to do is there for a reason. It's not just there because, oh, that's just something I like to do. Or, oh, I can see myself doing this. But then we pull back because we say, well, we don't have the resources. And I don't have the connections with the people. And I don't have this. It's like, get out there and just do it. Start working on it. Start studying it out. Start going and making yourself available. And start seeing where God will take you, what doors will open to you. She persevered. She pushed through. With all the opposition that she received, she still accomplished the vision. And the vision yet lives. It yet lives. All the organizations that she started, they're still thriving today. All because she had a vision to do it. And she said, I'm not going to let it go. When she passed, she said these words. She left this in her will. And it says, in her will, she stated in her will, I leave you love. I leave you hope. I leave you a thirst for education. I leave, finally, a responsibility to our young people. It was with her all along. She was like, I leave you that responsibility for the young people too. Teach them. Teach them. Share with them. Pour into them. That's what she wanted. She wanted them to learn to read. She wanted them to learn to write. She wanted them to be educated and to know who they were and that they could stand strong in who they were. She made a difference in so many people's lives, all because she decided to be who she was called to be. And she didn't let people just walk up to her and call her Mary. If you call her Mary, you were her friend. She was Mrs. Bethune. Mrs. Bethune. And she would correct people who just wanted to call her Mary. She was like, she didn't let them just call her, because she said she saw her mom and her dad being disrespected by people where they just had kids calling them by their first names and stuff. And I know a lot of people be like, don't call me ma'am, don't say no yes ma'am, no ma'am, and all that. That was a sign of respect when we were growing up. It was just a sign of respect, of respecting that this person is older than you. And even if I had a cousin who was like, if I'm 10 years old and my cousin was like, let's say 30, 40 years old, and sometimes you had cousins that was older, I didn't walk up and say like, oh, hey, David, how you doing? No. I was like, cousin David or cousin Leroy or cousin Leon, whatever. I put that cousin in front of it because they were older. And that's the way we were taught, as a sign of respect to people, not calling people old when you say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's a sign of respect. I told a friend of mine that a long time ago. She was like, oh, they could call me by, she was telling my kids they could call her by her first name. I said, no, ma'am, they will not. And she was like, wow, I'm not old, I was like, no, because at the moment that they begin to call you by your first name, they're going to start to treat you like you are their age. And they are not going to respect you at all. You're going to be able trying to tell them something to do, and them kids ain't going to listen to you. They are not going to listen to anything you say because you have just lowered yourself to their level. And she was like, well, I hadn't thought about it like that. I said, well, my kids will not be calling you by your first name. They're going to put a miss in front of it. They can call you auntie. They can call you something else, but they will not call you by your first name. And she was like, okay. But then she started noticing the difference with the other kids, because the other kids, their parents allowed that. And they were calling her by her first name, and they would not listen to anything. It was like they felt they was on her level. They talked to her any kind of way. The power you possess, yep, when you know who you are. Yes, Miss A. Yes. But it's like yes, Linda, familiarity. They would not. They would just talk. They started talking down to her. The other kids started going back and tat for tat, arguing with her. My kids never did that. They respected her as being an adult. She's the adult in the room. You listen to what she has to say. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But the purpose, like Miss A had just said, the purpose of knowing who you are, the power that is behind it when you possess and you know who you are, because it literally changed Mary Bethune's life. It changed her life, but it changed everybody else around her, because she would not let it go. She would pour into other young ladies and other young men, people who would sit and would listen. She would pour into them. She wanted to see them prosper. She wanted to see them grow. And she pursued every opportunity that she could get to be in places where you will look at now people saying, you know what, we can't get into those places, or we're not allowed. She didn't see that as I'm not allowed to go. She was like, that's where I need to be. And I know I'm going, it's some kind of way I'm going to end up in that place, and I need to be ready. So she prepared herself. She was always prepared, always prepared. Her preparedness got her to college, to study in seminary, to travel the world. Oh my goodness, she got to do so many different things and touch so many different lives, all because she possessed. I love that, Miss A. She had the power because she possessed who she was. She knew who she was. It was like in every aspect of who she was, she knew it. And she was like, I'm not gonna let you stop me. It's like it's like the song in I haven't seen the movie, but the Harriet Tubman movie. I love the song. It's like she's gonna take her people with her. It's like oh man, it's like together we are going to a better home. Together. She didn't leave nobody by themselves. She was like, if you want to come on, but we're gonna teach you and you're gonna learn. She taught the girls in the school what they needed to do. And what she had at her school was she had this sign that was up, and it said, you enter these doors to learn, and when you depart to serve. So you enter into these doors so that you can learn. But when you depart to serve. I said we can live by that today, guys. We can. We need to learn, and we need to go, and we need to serve. We need to be able to be open and hear, because we need to hear why am I on this job? Why am I over here? You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. And when you own who you are and you start pouring into other people, oh my goodness, the things that can happen. She always gave back. She always taught her kids about diligence. She talked to them about faith. She made sure that they knew who God was. She didn't let them go without knowing who the Lord was. She was like, no, we're going to teach you about faith too. You're going to learn faith in this school along with your education. And that's what she believed. She believed that you needed to teach the head, the hands, and the heart. So that means that you need to get that wisdom, you need to get that intellect in, you need to get all of that. You need to learn to do something with your hands. You need to learn that craft, that thing that you can go out, that trade that you can go and you can do. And then she said, we got to teach them about the heart too. You got to know who Jesus is. You can't do it without the Spirit. So she made sure that she taught them on all levels. So they learned everything that they needed to learn. Some were hard lessons, but they learned. And yes, it's bigger than us. Yes, it is. It is bigger than us. It's way bigger. And sometimes we have this tunnel vision and we're just seeing us, oh, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Or, oh, it's just me and my three and no more, us four and no more type deal. Expand your vision. Expand it because you're part of a bigger picture. You are a puzzle piece that somebody else needs to connect to. It's so much bigger than just us. It's just so much bigger. And when we see that, it's like I am gonna rise up and I'm gonna take my people with me. Together we're moving. Together we're gonna go. Because I just don't want to accomplish this thing by myself. I want to open a door for somebody else. I want somebody else to learn. I want somebody else to grab a hold of something, and I want them to go further. Because if you look at a good teacher will teach, and their student will go further than they did. The student will do more than what they did. Whether you're teaching them at home and you're the mom teaching, or you're the auntie teaching, or you're that uncle that's teaching, or you're the brother or the sister that's teaching, the person that you're teaching, the person that you're pouring into, I firmly believe they should go further than you. They should accomplish a little bit more than what you accomplished. They should be able to go further than where you went. Why? Because I'm preparing the way. I am pouring into you so that you can learn, so you can grow, so you can move forward. And we have to I want you guys to do this for me. I want you to go and I want you to read about her. I want you to just read just some of the things that she accomplished. It will blow your mind. And then think about the fact that she was born in 1875. Think about the fact that all the things that she had to endure and what was going on in the minds of people during that time frame, what she had to face because she couldn't go. She was not allowed to go in certain places, which she went anyway. They knew who she was, and she wouldn't allow anybody to disrespect her at all. It was like, if you're going to call me by my first name, I'm going to call you by yours. And people would get upset. But no, it's like, no, 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 no. And she never caused drama and a ruckus and a fight. She just knew who she was and she stood in it firmly. And she was not going to back down from it. And she continued to accomplish things. And her vision is yet living. Her legacy lives on. It's still growing. It's still multiplying. People are still receiving. I've heard people say, mention her name sometimes with Black history and different things like that. But I never took the time to go in to sit down and really look at what she had accomplished and who she really was. And when I did, I am yet getting more and more and more information. There are so many books out there and there's so much information concerning her that I was like, oh my goodness, why aren't more people talking about her? This woman became a philanthropist. Born in 1875. She helped so many different people. And I want to be a person like that. I want to be able to help other people. I want to be able to connect with other people and help them grow and push them forward. Because I've always said, I want to be in a position where I can take this money and be like, you know what? I'm going to send you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to give to you. You want to start that business? Okay. What's your plan? What's the plan? Give me the business plan. Let's look at it. Let's make sure it's good so I can help fund that. If somebody say, if you have a single mom that's out there that's struggling, saying, oh, she needs this, that, the other, I want to be the one that can go and just buy up what she needs and take it to her. If it's a car, I want to be able to buy the car, drive it up, put a boat on it, and be like, honey, go live your life, take care of your kids. I want to be able to sew. And see, we want to wait until we get all this money. We want to build it up, and get to that place. But let me tell you something. You can do it at the level where you are right now. You can do it where you are right now. It doesn't have to be this huge thing that you start out with. You can start small, because little by little by little, big things get done. So you can start with the small. You may not be able to buy all of the things that mom may need, but you may be able to go to the store and buy some toiletries. You may be able to go to the store and pick up like a week's worth of groceries, or even a day's worth of groceries. You might can go and help her kids get some clothes. You may be able to help that father who is a single dad out there trying to make it, and he trying to put two and two together so he can get some food in. You may be able to drop some groceries off. You may be able to open up a door where you be like, oh, okay, I know this person that'll do childcare for you for free. There are so many things where you can start. Mary started with $1.50 and a vision that just engulfed her. And she was like, I know. And she strategized. They going down here to build this railroad. They need people to watch these kids. I'm going to where it's needed. Strategize. Don't just sit around and be like, oh, one day it's going to happen. One day. And you ain't doing nothing. You just sitting, thinking it's just going to fall on you. Get out there and do something. Strategize. Look at what the plan is, because God got a plan for you. He has a plan for you. And you may see the vision way down the road, just like she did. You see this huge vision of where you're going, but you got to start with something. She started with 4 girls in her home. And now it's Bookman. It is now, I keep calling it Bookman, but it's Bethune-Cookman University now. I'm like, wow, 1875, and you started a school that is yet thriving today, all these years later. I am going to get ready. Thank you, Miss A, for tuning in tonight. I'm thanking all of y'all for just tuning in. If you get the opportunity, go read about her. Just go read about her. She is a phenomenal woman. She is an awesome woman. I am yet learning more information about her, and I'm still going to be studying about her, because she so inspired me to think about the fact, the time frame when she was born, and she caused change in this nation, in this world. She brought about a change because she knew who she was, and she owned it, and she walked in it. Know who you are, own it, walk in it. Know that you're important to this world. You were born for this time. You were born in this time frame with a purpose. Find out what your purpose is, discover it, and move forward and be everything you were commanded to be. You may not see it till the end, because the end, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, but you'll be able to implement it, pour into other people. You'll begin to see it grow and begin to change. And even if you're not here to see the ending of it, you know you began a thing, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be awesome, and it's going to continue to live. All right, guys, y'all have a great weekend this weekend. Make sure you check out Mary McLeod Bethune, that you check her out this weekend. Find out about her. Let me know what you found out. Send me an email, wholebeautiful@gmail.com. Let her inspire you like she has inspired me. And let's keep going, and let's keep growing, and let's keep being who we have been called to be, because we realize that whole and beautiful is not just our destination. It is most definitely our journey. I'll see y'all again next week. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, okay? Love you much. Good night.